revolution in jazz, word, and song. And this next act kind of throws all of those together. Ngoma Hill is a poet whose work has been prominent for, I don't know, going on 40 years, or maybe I'm even giving him too much of a youthful, maybe it's even more than 40 years, I don't know, but it's somewhere in that vicinity. And he's done some work with the Last Poets, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So, and not only... Absolutely. So we've got, you know, the folk singing world of Odetta and some of the blues and some of the free jazz people that the Last Poets hung out with and made amazing creative surges just ripple right through the movement. So when Ngoma contacted me a little while ago, we're Facebook friends. I can't even believe I used that term. I can't, still doesn't even make sense to me, Facebook friend. Right? But somehow this has actually started to make people get to know each other and be in contact, which is really a great thing. They reached out and said, "How come you don't use me on any of your shows, John?" I said, "I'm sorry, I don't know." So anyway, a while ago we did a special thing here a few months ago, and that was the Dump Trump Evening. Some of you were here for that. And Ngoma did a couple of pieces on that, so I said, "Come on back and let's give you a little bit more." So he's going to be giving us a set which will be not only combining poetry, but violin playing, didgeridoo, some kind of flutes and a steel drum of some kind. Anyway, amazing stuff. Please give a welcome to Ngoma Hill.
mockery. Mockery, titter-tatters on the edge of our discontent. Put through the microscope of integrity, coming up deficient of honesty. As a college elects to misrepresent those crying out for proof that the so-called Constitution is constitutional. Not just archaic babble left over from centuries past, guarded by laughing gargoyles on the steps of justice. Apathy is the aching tooth of Dracula, fangs dripping Middle Eastern oil as Fat Sam needs a colonic. 500 years of lies backed up in its constitution. Constituents tired of being pregnant with hope seek out abortions, feeling voting has no purpose in this hypocrisy. Where the two-headed coin has two bad sides, and anywhere it falls, oppression rules. Martial law hiding in the shadows, waiting for the eagle to fall. Conspiracy theories ignored while those who disorder the new world wait for its deliverance to the gates of hell. stand in the harbor, dazed and confused about what she is seeing, pondering how the asylum is being run by the inmates, or if someone slipped hallucinogens into her tea. Maybe the water is tainted as Flint, Michigan, wondering why the filters are clogged to the brim, so things seem distorted and oceans are muddy from sea to shining sea. Seems like she may need medical assistance without Obamacare, since Social Security has been kidnapped and freedom is no longer free. Lady Liberty stands in the harbor, hiding her eyes from all the corruption she sees, in total dismay of the disarray that all of the rigged elections bring. Wondering if there is a fortune teller who can let her know what the future will be, and if Orwell's Animal Farm in 1984 were just rehearsals, and is democracy only an illusion, or will she be deported by Homeland Security? I don't do much talking between sets and stuff, and I'm not trying to interpret this for you. I think it's kind of plain, so I'm just going to keep rolling, all right? If y'all got any questions, though, you can raise your hand or whatever. I'll try to entertain them. Cool. Karma is a B word. Last poem for 2016. Some things seem obvious, but it's hard to explain to the ignorant, too stupid to know they're stupid. That's why the president-elect thinks he can run a country like a reality show, where everything's for sale to the highest bidder. So the pot called the kettle black. Now that the hackers have been hacked, I'd say this is the big payback. For Libya, Egypt, and Iraq, Allende in Chile, for Vietnam, for Lumumba in the Congo and El Salvador, for those that did not bow to Fat Sam's will, and all those leaders that have been killed, like Malcolm and Martin and Kennedy too. I guess you didn't pay attention to the history books, or you were too young to see how fascism looks, or you just didn't care because you're not a Jew. You didn't pay attention to Wounded Knee, so you don't smell the stench in the land where nothing is free. Standing in the shadow of the Grim Reaper, ignoring the rule of being your brother's keeper. It's looking like Reconstruction after the Civil War, as we stand on the edge of tomorrow, staring in the face of another Holocaust with Mein Trump at the helm as he tells the world to go to hell before the inauguration hadn't happened yet, and the CIA could get him first. But the problem is that Pence could be much worse. So now we ask, what can we do as the rest of the world laughs at you? Ashes to ashes and dust to dust, with the demise of democracy that never was. So we tap the casket 3 times on the ground, pour libations with a little gin. May the phoenix rise from the ashes again. Most of the stuff I'm reading tonight is new work, and it's not recorded anywhere. Since I have a little bit more time, I'm going to do a couple of some other pieces that are recorded. And if you like them, you know, I got CDs. You should talk to me. But this piece here is new, so we're going to rock with it. morning news seems so redundant, like a scratched record, repetition on every channel. Buzzards flying in circles, singing a cacophony of annihilation. Fabrication rules the order as if video cameras lie. But then again, truth does not matter when justice wears a blindfold and jurors think all black skin is synonymous to felonious. After all, the officer swore that his life was in danger. The suspect pointed a gun, a bag of Skittles, a cell phone, a toy gun, a pack of cigarettes, resisted a taser. Presumed guilty until proven innocent. 8 bullets in his back, was breathing while black. Antebellum rules rule as Mason-Dixon lines reappear wherever black folk dwell. Ghosts of Klansmen return screaming, "Die, nigga!" They say they're not racist. They just want to save the white race with Confederate plates that read Confederate America, like their pale skin gives them a license to kill. So now you ask why I'm angry, while I ask why you're not. Meanwhile, things are getting hot. I don't mean to be so bitter, but we must do more than just text and Twitter. When for every action there's a reaction, I can't get no satisfaction. But everywhere I look, there's a dumbass meme telling us, yeah, you guessed it, keep calm. Go figure. The scribblings on the wall read, "Be careful, do not leave the arena to the fools, but the inmates are already in charge of the asylum. Sanity is highly overrated. There's a prostitute in the vestibule turning tricks for tickets to the show. The one-armed bandit is in the corner, that's a place. All the decks are stacked. There's a neon sign over the door flashing no exit, abandoned hope, all who enter here. No one's paying attention, dumbed down by weapons of mass distraction, hypnotized by social media, sending text messages to a shoe, begging not to be bamboozled anymore. But he laughs at them all, mumbling that the mind is the last frontier. Death is a way of life. Nobody comes out alive. So we search for a new chapter, looking for a do-over. But the pencil has no eraser, there's only whiteout. And the paper stock is blue, the delete key is broken. And then I awaken from this nightmare to learn time is never ending. The body is only a container for the soul.
Let's see if I can. Okay.
I don't usually work sitting down, but I had to sit down so I could play the pan drum. So kind of like. Uncomfortable conversations. Many times, black folk go out of their way not to make white folk feel uncomfortable. But we've been uncomfortable ever since we were brought here in chains. When driving while black, every time we hear a police siren, we live in fear, living in a police state. But you say, it can't happen here in these yet-to-be United States that you claim is post-racial. But these cops act like having brown skin is illegal, living in a reality show where there's no sequel. When we go into a department store, you follow us like thieves, but we're the ones that were stolen, along with whole countries, along with our history that's outlawed and distorted, our story distorted. Osa or Set Heru, replaced by a blue-eyed Jesus, then led to believe that anything unchristian is a sin, and that there was no history before the Nicene Council 325 AD, or around 1611 when that perverted James the King rewrote the Bible that he stole from the Egyptian Book of the Dead, it's been said. The Sun Book, aka the Book of Coming Forth by Day, extracting the 42 laws of Ma'at and leaving only 10 commandments. You would need to read more books to understand this, but media and gangster rap makes education unpopular these days, so intellectual curiosity has taken a backstage to video games. Hand-to-eye coordination, training folk to be quicker on the trigger for wars never ending. The economy is broken, so to foreign land, your sons and daughters, they're sending to maim and murder those who pray to Allah. Meanwhile, social media overloads and distraction, inundating us with commercials, got us trying to keep up with the Joneses, while children in China slave in sweatshops making smartphones. Broken window stop and frisk policy is a part of the conspiracy. The criminalization of a generation in a country where the rate of incarceration is the largest in the, I wish I could call it, civilized world. And whole cities are employed from prison population as a means to control population, but the demographic is rapidly changing from white to black and brown. Meanwhile, there's still a struggle concerning abortion. Cancer treatment has become an industry because in the cure there's no profit. The educational system is only designed for training. Critical thought is lacking. They don't want us thinking. We might just figure out fascism is rising, so we need to have these uncomfortable conversations. It's too late to change the channel. The atmosphere is polluted with radiation. It's too late to put your head in the sand. Now we're doing die-ins, chanting, hands up, don't shoot, I can't breathe. The cows in the corn. Now is the time for the child to be born. He'll laugh at the moon and he'll cry for the sun, yeah, well, if it's a boy, well, he'll carry a gun and grow on the cradle, yeah, yeah, yeah. If it should be that our baby's a girl, never you mind if her hair doesn't curl. Rings on her fingers and bells on her toes, yeah, yeah. And a bomber above her wherever she goes. Say the crow on the cradle, yeah, yeah, yeah. Rock-a-bye, baby, the black and the white, yeah. Somebody's baby is born for a fight. Rock-a-bye, baby, the white and the black, yeah, yeah, yeah. Somebody's baby is not coming back. Sing the crow on the cradle, yeah, yeah. Your mother and father, they'll scrape and they'll save, build you a coffin and dig you a grave. Santa Claus on the cradle, yeah, yeah. Little one, yeah, why do you weep now? We've got a toy that can put you to sleep. Santa Claus on the cradle, yeah, yeah, yeah. Give me a gun, I'll shoot that bird dead. That's what your mother and father once said. Santa Claus on the cradle, yeah, yeah. Crow on the cradle, crow on the cradle, crow on the cradle. Tell me now, tell me what should we do? Well, that is the one thing that I leave up to you. Santa Claus on the cradle, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm in with this one. It's a little bit more fun. Can't be serious all the time. Maybe we should be. I'm the original man. I was a runaway slave, I was here before time. Time here, we don't know how just something capitalist made up to control you. I can't be controlled. I'm that bald head brother your mama said to watch out for. Brothers was multicultural then, yeah. I was here before race. Race was just something conquerors used to divide us. I was here before Adam. Adam was gay and didn't even like apples. Eve was a homegirl, I was a dude next door. We used to throw barbecues in the Garden of Eden. Brothers had to bring a bottle of wine, a six-pack, or blood to get in. Sisters could get in for free. The Ascended Masters was my posse. Me and Cleopatra used to do the wild thing underneath the steps of the pyramids. Me and this poet named Saul used to sunbathe on the banks of the Nile. Me, Rob, Patal, Osiris, and my auntie had this bad band. We used to jam down by the Sphinx on Saturday nights. On Fridays, we party in Kush. On long weekends, we'd hang out with Krishna. We cruise along the banks of the Ganges on our elephants. Me and Buddha was buddies. We'd go to Ife on vacations, hang out with Orishas, Yemayao, Batala, Ogun, and them. The Bible was the first national enquirer. King James was the editor. I met that brother Jesus. He was a real black man, a young dude, dropped out of school early. Could do a mean miracle, though, changing water to wine, and whatnot, did a mean fish fry, too. I was there when he was killed. It was a Judeo-Roman conspiracy. He was a political prisoner. We had a free Jesus rally. Still got my button too. Didn't work though, they killed him anyway. Should have had Johnny Cochran for a lawyer. Me and Luke made samples the latest rage. I gave Gabriel trumpet lessons, he could play a mean blues. I promised Mary I'd keep her secret, you know. She wasn't no virgin. She's something she made up so she could get a welfare check since Joseph was an absentee father. I thought y'all figured out by now. Must I tell y'all everything? Look, Jesus told me I could be God just before he died. I didn't want the responsibility, though. I know all them crazy zealots would be killing peacemakers and saying he told them to do it. I didn't want all that blood and shit on my conscience. I used to slang rocks. No, not cocaine. Crystal, amethyst, tiger's eyes, turquoise, onyx, and blue lapis. I was the prophet before it was profitable. Thought about getting a psychic hotline, but I couldn't get the 800 number. I was here before language, before you had to worry about people lying. Everything was the truth then. I was here before negativity. Life was simple then. I was here before fear. I was here before want and need and greed and war and shame and blame. I was here before darkness. I'm the light. I've come to show you the way. Follow me. I'm truth. I'm eternal peace, yes. All we need is love. All we need is love. All we need is love. I am. name is Baba Ngoma Osayemi Ifatumishe. Some people know me as Ngoma Hill. You can call me Baba. You've been listening to Ngoma's Not Your Average String Band. I want to thank y'all for being here. And thank y'all for listening. I got some business cards. I got a few CDs. You can talk to me. I don't bite unless you're into that. You can take me home with you. Your significant other won't get jealous unless you play me all the time. They might get a little tired. But it's all good. Peace, y'all. Thanks.
Ngoma Hill, as you sometimes know. Great. Actually, great thing. This is the kind of thing that we need to do more and more and more of. This is culture of the people, by the people, for the people, as opposed to the government, which is not the way it was supposed to have turned out. This has been an incredible day, incredible evening. Thank you so much to the Henry Winston Unity Hall, which is otherwise known as the Communist Party headquarters. This young man, the bartender there, is not just the bartender, but he's the organizer in these parts. Esteban. Cameron is our co-curator here, who also sometimes plays violin with the performers, and sometimes is a performer in and of himself. So give it up for Cameron. Yeah. Gary in the back over there selling those books. I know some of you were buying them, and if you didn't, shame on you, because you'll be learning a hell of a lot more about what to do over the next 4 years, that's for sure. Last thing I want to quickly mention is next month. Remember that, I think we're all of age, remember, same bad time, same bad channel. Well, same bad time, next month, the 25th of February, we are having our Black History Month celebration here on New Masses Nights. It's going to be an amazing evening. The headlining act will be Amina Baraka, who I know you know her. She knows you. I told her you were going to be here. Amina will be releasing, will be recording her solo, as a solo artist, her very first album tomorrow morning. And I'm very happy and proud to say my ensemble, the Red Microphone, 1/4 of which is lovely Lori Towers back here, my better half, my much better half. We will be recording her solo album, her very first album as a leader, tomorrow in a Brooklyn studio. That album should be out on ESP Disc Records probably in the next 3 months. And it is a combination of her earliest works that date back to the, I guess, the late 50s, early 60s, and speak of her childhood growing up in the rural South before then. And some of those works go all the way until the most recent time. She wrote a piece in honor of our new president, and she calls The Fascist, and I think that you will get it. I'm sure she'll be performing that here with us next month on the 25th. And in addition to Amina with the Red Microphone, will be the legendary jazz bassist and poet Larry Rowland, who has performed here in the past and who some of you have seen before, and we'll be closing the set off with the Dave Ross Trio with a special guest who is a vocalist and a dancer. We're going to clear some space here on the dance floor and then open it up for everyone. Thanks so much again for coming out to New Masses Nights. I'm John Pietaro. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.